Hi guys, we are group 1/3 Nick and we are arguing for the right to choose. So defining corporal punishment. The dictionary defines corporal punishment as punishment that involves hitting someone or physical punishment. The definition that is accepted on a legal level states that corporal punishment is infliction of physical punishment on a person's body, which is sometimes employed in various settings such as school, home, military, judicial, and other settings. However, there is a fine line between corporal punishment and abuse. Corporal punishment is the occasional spanking or hitting of a child in order to discipline them, but it is not to exceed excessive force. So no kicking, no punching, no close hand hitting of a child in order to punish them, because that would be abuse. And we are not saying that abusing your children is okay, nor will it ever be. We are just arguing that corporal punishment should be the parents' right to choose. They should get to say whether they do or do not want to spank their children every once in a while, and we just want to make sure that that doesn't escalate to abuse.
RCW 9A 1600 of the Washington State Law states it is the policy of this state to protect children from assault and abuse and encourage parents, teachers, and their authorized agents to use methods of correction and restraint of children that are not dangerous to children. However, the physical discipline of a child is not unlawful when it is reasonable and moderate and inflicted by a parent, teacher, or guardian for purpose of restraining or correcting the child. Any use of force on a child by any other person is unlawful unless it is reasonable and moderate and is authorized in advance by the child's parent or guardian for purpose of restraining or correcting the child. RCW 2644-020 defines abuse and neglect as injury, sexual abuse, sexual exploitation, neglect, treatment, or maltreatment of a child by any person under circumstances which indicate that the child's health, welfare, and safety is harmed. Abuse and neglect does not include the physical discipline of a child as defined above. Corporal punishment is technically legal in all 50 states, with statutes varying from state to state. Punishment must be reasonable and not excessive. For example, Delaware passed a law saying it cannot cause injury or pain. 19 states legally allow corporal punishment in schools, and it was federally reported in 2009 that 184,527 students were physically disciplined across the country. A Harrison poll from 2013 says that 81% of Americans say that spanking a child is sometimes okay, and 19% disagree.
Corporal punishment is a common practice all across the United States. 70% of Americans agreed that corporal punishment is sometimes necessary to correct a child's behavior, and 81% of Americans privately support corporal punishment. Within that 81%, 85% of baby boomers, 82% of Gen X parents, and 72% of millennial parents are in favor of corporal punishment. Although the majority of parents in the United States support corporal punishment, only 35% of children experience corporal punishment each year. And finally, 19 different states allow corporal punishment in schools. However, use of corporal punishment in those schools has declined by 75% since the 1970s.
One reason why we believe that families, communities, and governments should have the right to decide for themselves whether corporal punishment should or should not be practiced is culture. I'm sure that most people would agree that having cultural differences in our country is beneficial and is necessary in maintaining diversity in our society. It is important to celebrate diversity because otherwise everyone will be more or less the same. Since the United States has a diverse population from all over the world, there are many different cultures within our borders. When it comes to parenting, each of these cultures bring their own style of discipline. Some of these parenting styles may include corporal punishment and some don't. Corporal punishment is a very controversial topic in the United States, but it does not have to be. Parents oftentimes believe that they should have the right to discipline their child as they see fit. Most will agree with this, but some may say that this should not include corporal punishment. The decision to practice corporal punishment or not should be up to the parent because research has shown that it can have different effects on different cultures. One study by Jennifer Lansford said that culture can act as a filter that can ease or exacerbate the effects of corporal punishment on child behavior. In parenting situations where corporal punishment is used, it may not have as big of an impact as some people may think. Next, we are going to show you a picture in which showing the countries in which corporal punishment is legal. As you can see, there are 195 countries in the world, and only 58 of them have banned corporal punishment. That means that there are 137 countries where it is legal. This shows that it is very common and that many of these countries don't view it as wrong. The children in these cultures will experience corporal punishment differently than those without it and have the same chance to be healthy in childhood, adolescence, and adulthood.
Now, going hand in hand with culture is religion, and different religions all have different perspectives regarding whether or not corporal punishment is an acceptable form of disciplining their child. In the Bible, Proverbs 23:13-14 states, "Do not withhold discipline from a child. If you punish them with the rod, they will not die. Punish them with the rod and save them from death." Furthermore, according to the Christian Parent Network, parents have a religious duty to do battle against a child and win, with the viewpoint being that corporal punishment gives children a foretaste of the potential terror and pain of eternal separation from God, meaning that corporal punishment is being used as a tool here to help the children learn a lesson. And a crucial point of backing up the statement and that they should be able to use corporal punishment is that the majority of parents say that they should never strike a child in anger or frustration, for they'll be displaying a loss of control. Now, corporal punishment being used as a tool for teaching kids is not solely unique to Christianity, but also many other religions and areas of the world, as seen in the previous slide map. An example of this is how schools that practice Islam use corporal punishment as a tool for maintaining discipline amongst their students.
We provided a survey with 2 questions to students in our class, and the results are shown below. Question 1 reads, "Did your parents ever use corporal punishment on you as a child? Example, spanking, slapping, open hand hitting." 80% said yes, 20% said no. Question 2. Do you feel it had a positive, neutral, or negative impact on you? 32% said positive, about 55% said neutral, and about 12% said negative. As you can see, people had a neutral and positive experience for the majority with corporal punishment. The majority said they experienced corporal punishment and agreed that it had a positive impact in their lives. Throughout my childhood, I experienced corporal punishment. In my opinion, I believed it helped shape me into the person I am today. It helped me make the decisions and choices in my life from childhood to now easier to belong in society. It made me realize that I'm a part of society and the choices I make matter. The corporal punishment I withstood was considered acceptable and normal in the time I grew up. In my family, corporal punishment was a normal thing to do. In my case, corporal punishment definitely had a positive impact in my life and the choices I made.
In conclusion, we believe parents should not have their rights taken away from them. It should be up to the parents to decide if they do or do not want to use corporal punishment in their own house. We are not arguing for physical abuse and never will, but for the parents' right to be able to choose how to discipline their children.